Today we will be talking about Korea's traditional martial art, Taekwondo. We'll be discussing the background, the history, and the modern application. It is pronounced Taekwondo. Korean tradition martial wear dobuks. Dobuks are different than karate uniforms and the tops are closed. Higher ranks and instructors wear different colored uniforms. The belt color goes from white to yellow to green to blue to red and then to black, and in between those belts is a strip with the next color belt. Taekwondo is practiced all over the world and is an Olympic sport. The woman on the screen is a world phenomenon and she is a previous gold medalist. The main philosophy of Taekwondo is the way of the fist and foot. Taekwondo strengthens the body and mind. Since the legs are naturally more powerful than the arms, kicking is heavily emphasized and rooted. The kicks are snap kicks and extend from the hip to the knee. Improvement on the mind and body is important, especially flexibility and discipline. Peace is always the first option in self-defense. If striking is necessary, be quick and accurate.
Now we're going to be talking about the history of Taekwondo. Taekwondo dates back to around 50 BC. Its first form was known as Taekwon or Subak. The Silas of Long warriors are responsible for the spreading and growth of Taekwondo throughout all Korea. Paintings from this time period have been found on the ceiling of Gyeongchang, a royal tomb from the Korean dynasty. The paintings show unarmed people using techniques that are very similar to the ones used by Taekwondo today. Sophia got help from King Gwangdo and his soldiers from the Goguryeo kingdom to drive out the pirates. During this time, a few select civilian warriors were given training in Taekwon by the early masters from Goguryeo. The Taekwon-trained warriors then became known as the Hwarang. The first widely distributed book was during the Yi dynasty. This was the first time that Subak was intended to be taught to the general public. In previous years, the knowledge was limited to the military. During the second half of the Yi dynasty, political conflicts and the choice to use debate instead of military action almost led to the extinction of Subak. When the Japanese conquered Korea, they banned practice of all military arts. The banning led to re-interest in Subak. Many Koreans organized themselves into underground groups and practiced the martial arts in remote Buddhist temples. In the last few years before liberation, there were many different variations of Subak Taekwon in Korea. This was due to all the other martial arts influences on it. The first Korean Taekwondo school came after liberation in 1945 in Yeongcheon, Seoul, Korea. The Korean Armed Forces were also formed in 1945, and in 1946, Second Lieutenant Hong Chi-choi began teaching Taekwon at the Korean military base called Gwangju. Americans were first introduced to Taekwon when Choi instructed Korean Army troops and some American soldiers stationed with the 2nd Infantry Regiment. 1952 was an important turning point. During the height of Korean War, President Syngman Rhee watched a 30-minute performance by Korean martial art masters. He was especially impressed when Tae Hee-nam broke 13 roof tiles with a single punch. After the demonstration, Rhee talked with Hong Hee-choi about the martial arts. He then ordered his military chiefs of staff to require all Korean soldiers to receive training in the martial arts. This caused a tremendous surge in Taekwon schools and students. During the same time period in Korea, special commando groups of martial art trained soldiers were formed to fight against the communist forces of North Korea. One of the most famous special forces was known as the Black Tigers. April 11, 1955, there was a meeting of all Kwon masters to merge various styles. They decided to merge the various styles for mutual benefit of all schools. 2 years after this meeting, the name of the fighting style changed to Taekwondo. The name was suggested by General Hong Hee-choi, who is considered the father of Taekwondo. Taekwondo was suggested by Choi because of its resemblance to Taekwon, and so provides continuity and maintains tradition. Further, it describes both hand and foot techniques. April 11th has now become known as modern Taekwondo's birthday.
So in the modern Taekwondo era, we have two main federations that are dominating the scene. We have the World Taekwondo Federation and we have the International Taekwondo Federation. The World Taekwondo Federation, otherwise known as WTF, is pretty much the governing body of Olympic Taekwondo. And each country has their own sub-organization that monitors the instructors and the certifications and the belt tests. And every country with the Taekwondo, World Taekwondo Federation organization comes together annually for a competition. And so the World Taekwondo Federation trains full contact, and they use full gears. They use body gear, headgear, gloves, and foot gear, and often shin guards to protect the body as people are striking with their full force. And in competition, we use a point system, and you get more points for kicking. So in World Taekwondo Federation, kicks are even more heavily emphasized as the more optimal usage. And in International Taekwondo Federation, more hand techniques are trained, but the sparring is light contact to no contact at all because there is very little gear used. And there's also other organizations such as like Cheongdo-kwan, the Korean Taekwondo Federation, and the American Taekwondo Federation, which blends the two aspects of World Taekwondo and International Taekwondo Federation. So with the advent of the modern mixed martial arts era and kickboxing era, we have this notion that Taekwondo and other traditional martial arts aren't effective. And the reason being is that there's a difference between training to be a fighter and training as a martial artist, being an artist and using your body. And it's using your body in different ways. It's like painting and drawing. So you have martial artists. So in the 90s and late 80s, when mixed martial arts and kickboxing was rising, we had this advent of like K1 in Japan and Pride Martial Arts and UFC putting style against style, and we see that and they found that they found certain martial arts are effective because they train in fighting, but it's really not that it's really actually effective. It just depends on how you train. You have fighters such as Yair Rodriguez, Conor McGregor, Anderson Silva, and other fighters that have proven Taekwondo's effectiveness. So we can conclude that Taekwondo is a martial art for everyone to strengthen their body and mind.